Hi, I'm Michael Boswell. I'm the Department Head of City and Regional Planning at Cal Poly in San Luis Obispo. My educational background is that I did my undergraduate at University of Central Florida in political science. I then did a Master's of Urban and Regional Planning at Florida State University. I then went and worked as a professional planner for a number of years and in county government in Florida, working as a very traditional land use planner. And then ultimately I went back to school and got my PhD in urban and regional planning, also from Florida State University. And basically after I finished that, I came out here to Cal Poly. This was my first academic job, and I've been here ever since.
My name is Vicente Del Rio. I'm an architect. My background is in architecture and urbanism. I got my first degree in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro. I got a master's in urban design from Oxford Polytechnic, and then I got a PhD in architecture and planning from the University of São Paulo.
My name is Beate von Bischopning. I do come from Germany, as you maybe hear with my slight accent. My background comes actually from architecture. I studied architecture in Germany, and I have a master's in international project management for the built environment, also from Germany. My background after my school education was that I worked in multiple really bigger architectural firms in Germany, where urban design was a big part of my work, and also in Germany urban design is part of the architectural education.
I'm Amir Hajrasuliha. I'm a faculty of urban design in the City and Regional Planning Department. I was born and raised in Tehran, Iran, where I got my Bachelor in Architecture and Master's in Urban Studies. I practiced as an architect and urban designer for years before continuing my education and get my Master's in Urban Design from the University of Michigan and my PhD in Metropolitan Planning Policy and Design from the University of Utah.
I'm Hema Dandekar. Hemalata Dandekar is quite a mouthful. It's a name from India, and I was born and trained in India as an architect. I moved here. After I finished my architecture degree, I worked in Japan for a year as an architect, and then I ended up here to do a master's and to work as an architect on the east and west coasts. And finally, I was working in Beverly Hills and doing a lot of kitchen remodels for very rich people. And I thought, you know, that's not really what I got all my training for. I want to do something that's more socially useful, that I thought was socially useful. And so I went to UCLA to do a PhD in international development planning.
So my name is Dave Amos. I'm an assistant professor here in the Department of City and Regional Planning at Cal Poly. Previously, I was a PhD student at UC Berkeley, where I studied city and regional planning, and I have some professional experience. I was once a consultant land use planner in the Sacramento area, doing general plans in communities around California.
I'm Chris Clark, and I went to school at the University of Oregon. I studied linguistics, but I always knew I was going to go to law school, so I went back east to a private little law school in New Hampshire and got a law degree, practiced law, and then I realized I want to do something a little different because I found out about city planning, fell in love with that, and that's how I got into the profession. So,
my name's Adrienne Grieve. I teach environmental planning, basically. These days, mostly climate change. My background, like lots of the faculty, didn't start in planning. My first degree was in ag and bioengineering, believe it or not. And then I did a master's in bioresource with a gap in there to like decompress. And then I was a USGS hydrologist, so moving my way back across. I'm originally from Seattle, so it's out of order a little bit. I did my undergrad in upstate New York, master's in Colorado, as I spent 10 years coming back across the US.
I'm Cornelius Nuwosu. The name and the accent come from Ghana, although I've been in the United States for nearly 40 years. I had my doctorate in transportation engineering from UC Berkeley, and I also have a master's in city and regional planning, in addition to a master's in transportation. I I work at the City and Regional Planning Department to satisfy the needs for transportation in land and transportation and land use, plus other quantitative types of courses that city planners need.
My name is Kelly Main, and I've been teaching at Cal Poly for maybe 14 years now, I think. I did my undergraduate work in economics as well as my master's work in economics from UC Davis and then Brown University. And then I went out into the field and worked as actually a practicing planner for many years, for probably at least 7 or 8 years. And then decided I wanted to go back and get my PhD so I could come into teaching and research. And so I worked as a practicing planner for another 7 years while I got my PhD at UCLA. So that's where I got my PhD.